Hello, my name is Keenan Kibrick, and I am here to evaluate two different websites for the class. So we start with one called Facts About the Civil War. Now, this website, even at the base, I want to start with the beginning. Let's look right here at the HTML. It says idiotica.com as the source. That for URL you want to look at because it means it is a commercial site, something to be wary of in the first place. Then we go on about it, looking at the different ideas. So first of all, I'm going to go in the order that it was set in Dr. Green and the ABC website. Let's start with bias. This is a Civil War, apparently, website that tells the history of it. Yeah, it says right here, the war began as the result of a dispute between certain southern states and certain northern states regarding slavery and the taxation of cotton exports. This alone we should be wary of because it says that the Civil War only started for one reason. When really, if you look at the Civil War, you can notice that happens for many different reasons that they are. This only limits the one, which is a first sign of caution. Second sign comes in authority. If you look in authority, this is by Dr. Eunice Sweeney, chairperson of the Department of American Historical Studies at Scheisthaus University. I thought I would check into this and decided to Google search Scheisthaus University. If we were to check that out, there is really nothing about a Scheisthaus University. And in reality, it kind of even brings up this as evaluating websites as a tool for it. So we should be wary on the fact of that, but always good to search. As for citations, when we look at this website, if you view it, you can find no citations to this information. It barely says them in quotations what it's about. So you can also be wary of its evaluative nature and its usefulness and trust as a site because of these facts of information. Graphics even, it only has one. And if you really look at these people, these look like fake Civil War reenactors more than actual Civil War photo, which should also make you skeptical. In fact, I would argue that maybe that guy in the picture, just because that might be Dr. Eunice Sweeney, but I haven't wanted to find out. Graphics, other than one picture, when you look at efficiency, this webpage is just one column, straight down. You just have to scan the information down to find out anything you want to know about the Civil War. And if you even talk about, as you said, bias, I mean, tells only the one reason for it. Navigability, I really can't say much about navigability because there is none. You scroll down and that's all you get to do to find the information. As for uniqueness, it's not unique at all. It's quite boring of a web page, I feel. It says the Civil War, and then you scroll down and read about it. Functional? Yeah, it's functional. I mean, if function counts as one column straight down, then it does have function. And let's even talk about the title. It says the Civil War and facts about Little Tiny. That's not very good as a title to make it you know what it's about. So I would have to say that this webpage is not a good webpage. Now, following a few others, it says intent. Its intent is to get you information about the Civil War. I feel it might be a little biased information about it, but that is the intent. And why did they make this website? I'm still kind of puzzled at that. It seems like he wants to, well, in some ways I would have to say go a certain way, because it says the Southern Army is fall under the supervision of General Ulysses S. Grant, a maniac and drunkard. General Grant's suffocation occasionally arrived with troops at the wrong battlefield. Obviously, this is from a, I would guess, Southerner perspective, maybe. The Southern Army fell, under Ulysses S. Grant. I'd have to say that this would be, you know, maybe someone who was for the Confederacy, although I can't find any proof about that either. Yeah, it's very confusing in any way you want to look at it. I'm really sorry. But I will say this, for strengths and weaknesses, it does have, you could say, a lot of weaknesses. Distrustful, the just blatant language of maniac and drunkard Ulysses S. Grant, all the things against Grant and his ideas, Union fans only. This is definitely Confederates, that it seems kind of biased in that way too. So really, it doesn't have anything that you can really constitute as strength unless you want a biased opinion. I will say strength. Maybe we can use it for a website like this, evaluative in nature, to say that it's not very good. Let's leave it at that and go to something a little more pretty right now. We now switch this to the Underground Railroad, which already on the cover right here we can see is a beautiful website. Let's start with a little bit over here. Let's ignore bias because we'll look more into that, but let's start at the beginning. First of all, this is a com, it is commercial, but it is by National Geographic, a reputable company. They make one of the most accurate magazines for history, so we can tell it's very accurate, which also would lead to authority. It's National Geographic. They are one of the most famous sources for information that we can obtain, and we also know that by National Geographic they are student-friendly and they're always geared towards students. Now, graphics alone, we already have at least swinging interaction, and when we click to the first page, oops, wrong one, go back, we see that there's a plethora of things you can do in the beginning. First of all, on even the first page, let's start with I like uniqueness. You get to choose a path you can take, and you can choose, if you are a slave, not to escape. So maybe you do, you want to see what happens. Boom. Leads you to a place that says they choose not to run away as soon as a faction fled. This already gets you thinking that you have options. Sure, all the options do, of course, lead you right back to the main page, where you have to click yes to find information, but it gives you options. Then we go to efficiency, very easy to use. You can look at the different pictures right here, you can click yes to go to the different ones, even look at all the different places you want to go to, maybe look up the journey, routes to freedom, timeline, everything you want to find out. Ooh, credits, let's go to bias, let's go to authority. Not only that, it has credits by all the different people it is by that made it. Photographs and image credits, it tells you where they got all the photographs from. And as you can see, they have a lot of answers to prove it, which is very good. And not only credits, okay, that was not pleasant, but hopefully this time it can work. Resources and links and store. So you can see there's a lot of areas you can absorb on this website, which will go into it. But resources and links is one of the best. Even more resources you can find to get more information. When we talk about bias, if they want you to find as much information as possible, they're very good. And all the sources you can say are very easy to use. They are perfectly cited. Lots of work you can do to find more information about the Underground Railroad. Now let's even start back at the beginning, and if I could stop clicking on that, it would be easier. Okay. Alright, so now let's talk about a few more parts of it. Photographs. They have photographs all around, and that is a very important thing. Not only are they, but you can notice the difference in photographs. Boom, we have a modern-day fake Civil War picture on the Civil War one. Right here, real photographs from the Civil War. Or at least we think more often, and they actually are from the Civil War because I showed you the website of the credentials for it. Efficient, very efficient. Yes, each web page goes from a different part about it. Follow Harriet Truman. Stealing away, tells everything you can do about it. Even music you can hear in the background. Ooh, do you want to hide in the woods or approach the house? Different things you can do at each website. So as you can see, I think for many of those ways, it is a very good website. Strengths and weaknesses, though, I will still say. Strengths, very easily to navigate. Students can have a lot of fun with it going through, taking different options. That goes to uniqueness. I like that it has paths that you can take. Each one will lead you different ways. Weaknesses, it is a little forced. It could have gone into more maybe about slavery in general on the page of when you say no. Even here it says no, you always have to go straight back to that page. I think it could do a little more information when you are in those no areas to highlight that there is more of a path. It doesn't feel as linear and, as we like to call in gaming terms, railroaded. But I do think, though, other than that main weakness, that has many strengths. Another weakness would be this ad up here that keeps popping down every time you click on different ideas, as you saw twice. For National Geographic, I would wish they would have less ads, although half their ads are for themselves, so it's okay. But can't help that always. So those are weaknesses and strengths of the websites. Overall, I really think the Underground Railroad website is much better done, and I hope that was the point of this exercise, because if it isn't, and I really am supposed to trust facts about the Civil War, then I would like to hear from both my professors about that, because really, this fake Scheist House University, who would you trust more of them, or National Geographic with everything they had? I want to use the Underground Railroad website to actually teach my classes, and I want to use Facts About the Civil War to warn them about sites, because the two best sites now seem like this one, or the famous one of Martin Luther King .com or one written by the KKK. So I hope that was a useful idea for you, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation on both websites. And there we go.